You know, the first 2 days you got your pajamas on, so you're just running around in your shorts and t-shirts and put the headgear on, and then did our first day in uppers yesterday, and we start to see how we're going to be. You know, we a lot of learning to do, huge learning curve. Trying to establish tempo and pace with this new practice schedule is interesting, and because in essence you really have one more week than you used to have, so that has to come into your thinking, because you obviously want to get the guys all this information, but you don't want to jam it at them too fast that they can't retain, and you actually have a little more time to, you know, to install, get prepared, and so forth. But you don't want them bored with it either. So you got to keep, you know, you got to kind of keep it going at a reasonable clip, so that they stay engaged and they learn and they participate with great energy, mostly mentally. You know they're going to do that physically. So good start first 3 days. Excited about it.
And I know you've talked about maintaining the aggressive attacking style of your defense, even with losing so many starters. Realistically, does there have to be some dialing back with so many young guys at all, or is it too early to tell?
We really can't tell. I think it's a great question. I'm not trying to dodge it. But regardless of how we're going to go about doing it, because there's several ways to do it, we're going to be aggressive. I mean, that's just the way we play defense. So now we may do that different ways. We may play different concepts. Obviously, you have a system. It needs to be flexible enough so that speed can get on the field, and based on where that speed comes from, positionally, that your package is flexible enough that you can utilize those talents.
Don, in Chicago, Jim was talking about Quiddy and Luigi, kind of raving about them on the outside. You mentioned them maybe as outside linebackers, defensive ends. What have you noticed out of those two so far?
Well,
Luigi, Quiddy.
I'll give you this. I watched pass rush yesterday. Pretty good. Very good start. Luigi, extremely explosive, comes off the rock. Was really impressed with how well, not only does he come off the rock, but how well Quiddy used his hands. And, you know, those guys are very talented guys, as coaches alluded to. And we're going to give them every opportunity possible to get on the field. In some roles. Now, you know, can they learn it all concept-wise? Probably not. But that doesn't mean they can't contribute and develop confidence and then have their role broaden as we move forward.
Obviously, you're going to have guys compete everywhere, but is corner going to be the most interesting kind of battle for you? Is that what your read is right now? Or?
I think every position is you know, there's battles going on. But, you know, I think the corner thing is paramount in our thinking. You know, Coach Zordich, I have tremendous confidence in his abilities to analyze, provide technique and concept, and I love those guys. I mean, all of those guys have a chance to be good. So, you know, and Coach gave me a, I don't know, early birthday present or something. But Drake Harris had a nice interception yesterday, so, and I love those guys, you know, when they put their hands out, and they're nice and long, and then he goes up and high points the ball. It's fun to see, so hopefully he can continue to take steps, move forward, learn the concept, and play fast, because that's the biggest piece. Okay, I know the concept, but it's like mud, you know. Stammering around, you know, it's no quick twitch, move forward, make adjustments, technique fundamentals, play fast, all those things. So, but all of those guys have a chance. Really like them all, to be honest. You know, I think Brandon Watson up, you know, and Keith Washington. Then you got the Levert, Hill, David Long. You got the Ben St. Juste. You got Drake. You know, so I mean, it goes on and on. There's a number of guys there, and it was right now, as you alluded to, we're going to try to find out who the top 2 and really 3 guys are. We're even, you know, looking at Jalen, Kelly Powell, you know, and seeing if he can help us in some of those packages as well, utilizing his coverage skills.
A couple of the players had mentioned this offseason about Khaleke Hudson being potentially off the radar, but potentially one of the best players in college football. Obviously steps into big shoes going into Jabril's shoes, but what have you seen out of him and how likely is that ascent?
Well, I love him. I mean, he's a very physical guy. His learning at that position's been outstanding. And he's competing at a high level. He hasn't played a minute on defense yet, so going from that point to, you know, one of the best players in college football is an extremely high jump. So I'm just very happy with his arrow. You know, some guys' arrow's flat, some guys' arrow's down. His arrow is constantly going up. He's a really coachable guy. He's fun to have in the room. And don't forget, he can play some safety as well. So.
Can playing aggressive help them quicker because they're putting the onus on the offense instead?
Let me ask you this question, okay? So I'm going to cover you. So I'm going to go back here, and then you're going to run all over the place, and I'm going to go cover you. Do you think that's easy? With all that space on a football field, or I'm covering you, and I close up and play with my hands, and you know, up until 2013, I coached corners every year since 1983. The minute you got, you know, and I used to always do this just to see when we started getting into all the press concepts. The minute you said to them, hey, you've got the option, you can go up and play press or you can play off, they'll all immediately go. And players know what they want to do and whether they want to accept the one-on-one challenge or play and let great players run around in space and try to chase them all over the field. I just say that's kind of a common denominator. Guys that, you know, that we're involved with in recruiting, if there's any chink in their armor or if we sense any kind of, you know, that aggressiveness that we're looking for, probably not a good place to come, in honest reality. Because we want guys that accept the one-on-one challenge. And, you know, that's just me. But, you know, that's what we're looking for.
Going back to